were doing, I'm not going to name the person because it's embarrassing, okay? The point is we were doing a stunt in front of Hugh Jackman. Now, I have very few scenes with Hugh Jackman, and
When most people think of Zendaya in early 2025, they picture her as the face of billion-dollar franchises, Spider-Man, Dune, Euphoria, the kind of actress who commands headlines just by showing up to a premiere. But while everyone was expecting her next move to be another superhero sequel or sci-fi epic, she made a choice that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Zendaya signed on to play Ronnie Spector, the legendary lead singer of the Ronettes, in a biopic that nobody saw coming. The announcement dropped in March 2025, when A24 confirmed that Oscar-winning director Barry Jenkins would helm the project titled Be My Baby. For an actress who had spent years building a reputation in contemporary dramas and futuristic blockbusters, this felt like a complete left turn. Zendaya was pivoting away from the safe, predictable path and diving headfirst into one of music history's most complicated stories. What makes this move so surprising is the timing. At 28 years old, Zendaya has become one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood. Her films have grossed nearly $4 billion worldwide. She won 2 Emmy Awards for playing Rue Bennett in Euphoria, becoming the youngest actress to win Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. She transformed from a Disney Channel sweetheart into a cultural phenomenon who can sell out any project just by attaching her name to it. Most actresses in her position would ride that wave as long as possible. They would sign on for another Marvel movie, another Dune sequel, another prestige television series. The formula works, why mess with it? But Zendaya chose differently. She chose to play a woman who lived through psychological torment at the hands of one of music's most notorious producers. Ronnie Spector was born Veronica Bennett in 1943. She co-founded the Ronettes with her sister Estelle and cousin Nedra in the late 1950s. The group became known for their bold fashion choices, dramatic eye makeup, and towering beehive hairstyles. But it was their music that changed everything. When they signed to Phyllis Records in 1963, producer Phil Spector crafted their signature sound. The result was Be My Baby, a song that would become one of the most influential pop recordings of all time. The track opened with that iconic drum pattern, 4 beats that have been sampled and referenced in countless songs over the decades. Ronnie's voice soared over Phil's legendary wall of sound production. The song reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold over 1 million copies. The Ronettes toured with the Rolling Stones and befriended the Beatles. They were at the absolute peak of 60s girl group culture, but behind the glamour was darkness. Ronnie married Phil Spector in 1968. What followed was 6 years of what she later described as imprisonment. Phil controlled every aspect of her life. He kept her locked in their mansion. He monitored her phone calls. He prevented her from seeing friends and family. He threatened her with guard dogs and guns. Ronnie documented all of this in her 1990 memoir, also titled Be My Baby. The book revealed the psychological abuse she endured. Phil's paranoia and violent behavior nearly destroyed her. She turned to alcohol to cope. Her career suffered. She lost years of her life to fear and manipulation. When she finally escaped in 1974, she knew that staying would have killed her. The memoir became a powerful testament to survival. This is the story Zendaya chose to tell. Not a safe biopic about a beloved icon with a happy ending. Not a musical celebration of the Ronettes' greatest hits. But an unflinching look at what it felt like to be trapped in an abusive relationship while the world celebrated your music. The project had actually been in development for years before the official announcement. Ronnie Spector herself secured her life rights and music catalog back in 2002. She was serving as an executive producer on the film when she personally selected Zendaya to portray her. This wasn't a studio decision or a casting director's choice. This was Ronnie looking at Zendaya and seeing something that convinced her this young actress could capture her story. Ronnie passed away in 2002 after a brief battle with cancer. She was 78 years old. When news broke of her death, Zendaya posted a moving tribute on social media. She wrote about how knowing Ronnie had been one of the greatest honors of her life. She talked about listening to Ronnie's stories for hours. She described the rock legend as incredibly full of life, always with her signature red lips and teased hair. The connection between them was genuine. After Ronnie's death, the project went quiet for a while. Hollywood insiders wondered if it would ever get made. Then in March 2005, A24 announced that Barry Jenkins was coming aboard as director, with screenwriter Dave Kajganich crafting an original screenplay. This wasn't going to be a traditional cradle-to-grave biopic. Jenkins and Zendaya had agreed on a version of the story that would immerse audiences in what Ronnie's life with Phil Spector actually felt like. Barry Jenkins won the Academy Award for Best Picture with Moonlight in 2017. He directed If Beale Street Could Talk and most recently helmed Mufasa, The Lion King for Disney. He brings an artistic sensibility and emotional depth that suggests this biopic will be something special. The collaboration between Jenkins and Zendaya promises a film that prioritizes psychological truth over formulaic storytelling. For Zendaya, this represents a massive artistic risk. She will need to sing. She released music early in her career, including her 2013 album and the hit single Replay, but she hasn't focused on music in over a decade. She made a surprise appearance at Coachella in 2023 to perform with Labyrinth, but that was a one-off moment. Taking on the role of one of the greatest voices in rock and roll history is a completely different challenge. She will also need to portray trauma in ways she hasn't before. Yes, she played Rue Bennett, a teenager struggling with addiction and mental health issues. But Rue's story was contemporary. The language and cultural context were familiar. Playing Ronnie Spector means stepping into the shoes of a woman from a different era, dealing with abuse that was largely hidden from public view, finding the strength to survive when everything around her was designed to break her down. This role puts Zendaya squarely in the conversation for future awards recognition. Biopics of musicians have historically been Oscar magnets. Rami Malek won for playing Freddie Mercury. Renee Zellweger won for Judy Garland. Jessica Chastain was nominated for Tammy Faye Bakker. Jennifer Hudson was chosen by Aretha Franklin herself to play the Queen of Soul in Respect, similar to how Ronnie chose Zendaya. The precedent is clear, but awards aren't the point. The point is that Zendaya looked at where her career was heading and made a choice to do something that mattered more than box office numbers. She chose art over commerce. She chose to honor a woman who personally believed she could tell this story. She chose to challenge herself in ways that will make her uncomfortable. The film is still in development with no confirmed release date yet. Industry observers are guessing it might arrive in 2027, given the production timeline. Zendaya is currently juggling multiple projects. She's filming Dune Part 3 in Hungary. She's attached to Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, alongside Tom Holland. She's returning as MJ in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and reprising her Emmy-winning role in Euphoria's third season. She also recently joined the cast of Shrek 5 as the title character's daughter, Felicia. Her schedule is absolutely packed, which makes the decision to take on Ronnie Spector even more significant. She didn't have to add this project to her plate. She could have focused on the guaranteed hits, but she understood that some stories are worth the extra effort. Zendaya's career has always been about defying expectations. She went from Disney Channel to winning Emmys. She balanced massive blockbusters with intimate character studies like Malcolm and Marie. She became a fashion icon who uses red carpets to make artistic statements. She got engaged to Tom Holland in December 2024, proving she could maintain a private personal life despite constant media attention. Now, she's taking on Ronnie Spector, a woman who survived psychological torture and still managed to reclaim her voice, a woman who fought for decades to win back the rights to her own music, a woman who chose Zendaya to carry her legacy forward. This is the career move that nobody saw coming. And it might be the most important one Zendaya ever makes.